The Match Ball.
Hello to you and welcome to the Match Ball, brought to you by Levi Solicitors. There is a 10% discount on your legal fees at levisolicitors.co.uk/the square ball. Michael, say the three magic words.
Will's Probate Conveyancing.
Will's Probate and Conveyancing.
3 people said them to me today as they walked through the Lowfords Tunnel.
Lowfords Tunnel? Yes, there is a 15% discount on the Phil Hay Monday Club, which we'll be reconvening on Monday to do. Phil predicted a 2-2 draw, actually, today for the game against Newcastle. Did he not? Yeah, details over on there if you want to get the 15% discount. Otherwise, 10% if you go via levisolicitors.co.uk/the square ball. Yeah, it's Dan, it's Michael and Moscow, back from a hot and steamy Ellen Road. Do you want to call it a dramatic 2-2 draw?
Dramatic? It was stressful. I'd go with stressful rather than dramatic.
I still don't understand our equal at the second goal.
No, it was weird, wasn't it?
It didn't feel like I was watching all the players running around, and on the big screen, huge word, it says goal. But I was like, we scored? I just didn't get it.
I was right behind it, yeah.
And so, did you feel like we'd scored?
It took me a second to go, it's gone in! Yeah.
I feel like the nature of the game, everyone went, yeah, but it's offside or something.
Yeah,
I mean, Rasmus was basically just putting his foot through. Yeah, it felt like such like a struggle, hadn't it, up to that point in every respect, attacking and defending. And I don't mean a struggle as in difficult, just like everything was. There was nothing coming easy in the game, was there? And then suddenly, before you know it, Rasmus has put his boot through it and it's ended up in the net.
There's a little interesting detail on that I guess maybe only visible if you're in the stadium, so useful for people who weren't there and didn't spot it. Before the free kick, it was a corner, wasn't it? We took it a short corner. Rasmus was standing in the centre circle saying to Robbie Keane, should I go forward or should I stay back? And Keane took ages, like Big Sam was chewing his gum, like just waffling away at somebody. He's like, Sam. And eventually he's like, should Rasmus go in the box? And he just went, get in box.
Right.
And then what happened next? So the touch of that big Wrigley's genius is all it took to get Rasmus in the danger zone.
Right. Okay. Where do we want to start? I've got Firpo, I've got Bamford, I've got the ref, and we've got a Desmond as well, the old 2-2.
Probably has to be that penalty, doesn't it? And Bamford and all that happened.
Yeah. Were you the one person in the stadium who thought he was going to put this in?
Nope.
No, I wasn't.
I felt 100% sure it was missing.
Nobody was confident about that, were they?
I thought he would score. Right up until the whistle blew. Because there was a gap between the whistle being blown and him starting to run up and take it. And that's when I thought, no, he's
in his own head.
Yeah, up until then, I was like, let's just hope for the best. And if he's going to take it, he's going to take it. And then I started getting big Wigan 2019 vibes, goal up, penalty, man advantage. Which
that wasn't Bamford that day, was it?
No, Pablo missed and then Bamford scored, but they got to take it in turns. And I just had that feeling. And then bless him. My favourite part of Bamford's day was in the second half. He took a shot and conceded a handball. And it's like,
yeah,
mate, come on.
Diplomatic words from Big Sam about this. He's saying, I left it, this is the penalty taking, I left it how it used to be before I got here. I haven't seen them taking many. It is what it is. I'd have thought if Rodrigo really wanted it, he'd have snatched it and said, I'm taking this. It can happen to anybody.
It can happen to anybody. It does always seem to happen to Pat.
Yeah.
But then he puts himself, you can't, there's two ways. Would you rather he'd been like standing in the corner going like, no, I don't want to take it. My confidence is shot. I feel terrible. I'll probably miss. Or do you want him going forward and go, no, I will take this because I think I'm going to score. Probably better that he's in the mood where he thinks he can score. Just a shame that...
That's two ways of saying, do you want your number 9 to take it? And, in the sort of abstract, you do. But in the practical sense, I'm not sure anybody did on that occasion.
No. It's kind of damning, isn't it, that if chances are falling to people, you always say you want them to fall to your number 9. And truthfully, he's probably the last person you want any chance to fall to at the moment because you just don't have confidence. Like I've not seen a replay of Ayling's goal, but it looked like pretty much a tap-in. But does Bamford score that? I'm just not sure. I'm just not sure he does. Does he feel like the way he is, he'd go with his left and he'll bend it over the bar or something?
Yeah.
Bamford set that goal up well.
He did.
So that was good.
He did. But that miss and the Leicester miss, and you just sort of think, oh, God.
Yeah, you wish it didn't happen to him. He also had the encouragement after the miss of Robbie Keane, got him over near the dugouts, and he went to him. He was going, forget about it. go and score. So 2 fine Irish international number 9s sharing a moment together. So that's a bit of confidence booster for Pat that he didn't have before.
I would rather have. Or is it? I mean, it was just saying Samuel John Holt is saying I think Robles scores it. I think Verba would have scored it. I think Rodrigo would have scored it. I mean, we never know, can we?
Yeah, Greenwood might have scored it. Pat might have scored it if he'd just blasted it into the back of the net, which would have been the ideal solution.
It was a bad penalty as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was awful.
There's none of that. Oh, it was a brilliant save. It was well struck. It was shit. It was a really easy
good height for the keeper.
Not in a corner. Crap. No
That's
power on it.
That's why the gap between the whistle and the kick, or beginning the run, was where my heart sank. Just like, no, he's thought about this. Something's he's gonna try and place it or something, and it just won't work. And it didn't work.
The crowd was very supportive. The crowd was very supportive of him, we should say, because obviously they could see that he was suffering. And I think on a sort of an individual kind of low level, everybody was grumbling, saying, "Oh, fucking Bamford!" But then there was that sort of collective crowd getting behind him and singing his name.
Bamford has rarely suffered in the ground, I would say.
No,
for as much as he's obviously left Twitter this week and has got a lot of stick on that, in the ground, obviously people are frustrated with him, but it seems to mainly just be people talking to each other in there, going, "Fucking hell, what's he doing? Why is it?" I knew he'd miss, but like the actual support for him has always been there, and I didn't notice any particular change in that towards him. Maybe people weren't singing his name afterwards, but really that's as much as you can hope for. Surely.
Samuel John Holt has objected to me using his full name there when I read out his comment. Sorry, Samuel John Holt. Yeah, I would have liked to have seen Rodrigo take it. But there you go. You know, as Allardyce said, it is what it is. It's just a shame, isn't it? But if we do go down this season, then people are going to look back on the miss versus Leicester, not scoring that, as crucial turning points, just because of recency bias as well. It's unfolded over the course of the whole season, of course it has. But people are going to look at that and say, these are the moments that cost us.
But does Rasmus Christensen does he have as many goals as Bamford now?
I don't know.
I feel like he's got 3, hasn't he? Has Bamford got more than 3?
Yeah, I think he's got at least 5.
Okay.
Probably.
They just were a long time ago.
Say off the top of my head. The Leicester one will probably be a bigger deal because today Allardyce in the build-up was saying we just need to not lose. Like that was the aim of the day, and we didn't. So we've come out at par. You're about to tell me somebody scored, haven't you?
No. I'm about to tell you that Allardyce has said the scoreline should have been a victory for us. With the spirit and commitment we should, if we'd gone 2-0 up, we would have won the game.
Well, it should, yes, but
the way we stayed in it was very, very good.
Yeah, I think that's the difference today, is that we probably deserve to win on the strength of the performance being not just a complete collapse. And there was you're worried about that with it being Bamford misses, they immediately score a penalty, and you think, well, we've seen this a million times before. It's going to be 8-1 to Newcastle. That could have quite easily happened. Instead, 2-2. So we didn't take the advantage that was offered to us. We looked that gift horse in its mouth, but came out of it with another good performance and the point that we went in there trying to win. So
it's interesting that you say it's on par. Looking at the betting odds, they haven't shifted at all for relegation for us. Whereas a win, obviously, a win or a loss would have changed them. But I think it's probably because bookmakers are obviously essentially factoring in what they think will happen, and they've seen a point and gone just the same as before. Then, essentially.
Well, it'll
Nothing
depend on
changes.
what the other games do. But I'm just taking it off what Allardyce said before the game, because he put a lot of pressure on. And I was thinking about how that works when we were 2-1 behind if we had lost. And then when it was 3-1, but that goal was ruled offside, and
which we need to say, by the way, was absolutely miles offside. It was like a good 10 yards off.
Yeah, really strange.
And it went through that stupid procession of him going through, carrying on. I mean, I was sat there going, it's offside. It's fine. It's offside. They score, put it in, they cheer, they pull it back. Just put your flag up.
Yeah, but we put
idiots.
We put a lot of pressure, or Allardyce had put a lot of pressure on not losing, and it looked for a while there like we were going to lose. We didn't, so we didn't fail today. We just didn't win to the extent that we could have.
And there were some very encouraging bits of the performance, I thought. The fact that they didn't just cut through us, because other than the 2 penalties, I didn't feel like they had an awful lot of chances. In that second half, there was a fair bit of nerve-shredding stuff where it was just bouncing across the box. And
got a bit stretched, didn't it?
You were kind of expecting it to drop to someone, but Robles made, I think, 2 saves that were both relatively comfortable. There was the Sam Maximin one where he went down the left, cut inside and shot, but that was very close to him. And then there was a shot from the edge of the box right at the end that he saved. But they were both saves you'd fairly comfortably expect him to make.
Yeah, the second penalty just came from carnage, we just we got stretched and it was being blocked and cleared and given back to them and then back in again and then there's an arm in the air and then whatever.
He did well to get his fingertips to it, didn't he, Firpo? Because I've seen the still. God, he really had to stretch.
If he was trying to block a shot in basketball,
at least he won the other one.
He did, yeah, I suppose he did win.
I've been seeing, you check Twitter when you come out.
You'll have seen, mate, on your telly. It wasn't
Didn't
a
have
penalty.
one. Didn't have one.
No,
I was on the gantry and they don't have one there.
Can we do the... We haven't done it for a while, have we?
Gantry,
the gantry, go on.
the gantry dinger, yeah.
There we go.
There we go. That's some joy for you.
Not seen it.
All right, I was going to
Apart
say...
from on the big screen where they briefly showed it. And it looked
Was the first one a penalty, like the
I haven't
hours?
seen that either.
That was definitely.
Not been watching.
Right. I ain't got a clue what went on.
I think both of the first. I thought the first two were definite. Both looked like
Newcastle's, because again, everyone was kind of annoyed about that. It looked soft.
Well, it was one of those where he sees Verba going in for the tackle and runs away from the ball to make sure he gets clattered, but it seemed fairly obvious. And whether or not Firpo had been fouled before or had just lost his footing, I don't know. And ahead of the Firpo handball one, it looked like there were potentially a couple of free kicks before, one on Ailing maybe.
At the back. I wanted to push at the back post, but I'd need to see it all back.
Yeah, I've not seen it.
I don't. I think that's how I feel about the referee overall. What do you make of the ref? I feel like he just didn't quite have control of it today. He sort of swung wildly between being really disciplined, not letting anything go, and then letting all sorts go.
He seemed to referee the first half and second half to a different set of rules.
Yeah,
like he didn't let a single thing go in the first half. Everything with the most minor of contact was a free kick. And the second half, it was a bit more like, whatever. I don't know if someone had a word with him and said, you're giving too many free kicks. And he was like, right, I'll stop.
I'm sure Hooper's done that to us before. It was Simon Hooper. I feel like we've had this conversation about him before, where he's done two different halves. I think it was a feature of the game and part of Verba giving away the penalty. I think we were giving away a lot of real cheap fouls that some of them you'd maybe look at the ref and go nah, come on. But then a lot of them were just us being just doing really bad tackles, but just going in late on people and push just stupid stuff. Mainly, Verba did quite a few. One of them was a penalty, and there were a couple in dangerous positions. Firpo obviously has had the attention because he gave the penalty away and got sent off, and he was doing quite a few. There was quite a few in midfield where, particularly in the first half, but it carried on a bit less in the second. Of just why have we fouled him there? And I don't know if it's a feature of Allardyce has said just kick him and then hope that the referee doesn't give every single bloody one of them, but that's how it felt like. But then there was some bit of making problems for ourselves, particularly around our own penalty area. Verba gave away 2 or 3 out wide, where it's come on, Kieran Trippier is here. We know what this is about.
Well, he took some shit free kicks, didn't he, today?
Yes, he did.
The one he passed to Harrison was good.
Yeah, oh God, if only he'd looked. Yeah. He'd seen Rodrigo was going the other way, but he ran into trouble, didn't he?
Great news, lads. Forest are beating Chelsea.
Good old Frank Lampard. Knew we could rely on him.
Michael's face.
That's just Lampard going exactly to character. But
if that finishes like that, I hope Frank Lampard, the Chelsea legend, is beaten to death on the pitch. I think it would be only fair.
I wonder where you were going to go with that, and you didn't.
And he went to the worst possible place.
I'm sure he won't be. He'll just blame someone else, won't he? And that'll be fine. Every shot Forest ever have goes in.
Maybe we should try that.
I've noticed this in every game they play. They seem to have every game they'll finish with 3 shots and they'll score 3 goals.
We could do with getting a few more away.
Although Chelsea are dismal.
I mean, I've only just sort of catching wind of this now. Somebody confronting Eddie Howe.
I don't really know what's going on then.
Because he's quoted in the post-match saying, I'm not sure if he pushed me, he confronted me, he said something I can't repeat, and then he was led away. Moments like that do make you think.
Makes you think.
Makes you think.
Make you think what?
Think. Safety is paramount, and we need to be mindful.
So is that what... Well, that does make you think that yes, people shouldn't be pushing the manager. But I mean, he should just be glad that Michael's not there.
It's true. It was not Frank Lampard. For Chelsea so far, I've just opened that they've had 85% possession, 0 shots.
Yeah,
well done, Frank.
There's no worry. There's no point in even getting caught up in the implications of the scoreline of that game after 15 minutes. Because remember what happened last weekend?
Yeah, it was wild.
Everything was ridiculous. So, the only certainty is that we drew 2-2 with Newcastle. Who did we play? Newcastle United.
Yeah. It's weird. I've come away from that game today. It was quite a stressful, tense game at different times. But I've come away from the game feeling, I don't know if it was the sunshine or whatever, but feeling quite relaxed.
You joking?
Not relaxed like with our situation. I don't know. I just felt like if we go down, we go down. It's probably our own fault, not being good enough over the course of a season. But we're all still here, you know.
I mean,
we turn up.
I'll have to see what happens.
Leeds, it just felt like more Leedsy today. I don't know. There was a bit of fight there. There was a bit of something I recognised. I don't know. Maybe that was it.
Yeah, I get the feeling it was quite stressful, but if I watched it back from a neutral perspective, that felt like a good game.
Yeah. It was an entertaining 2-2. If there wasn't so much at stake, it would have been you'd have walked away going, "That was a decent game."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the result in the end is actually, as I've said a couple of times, what we went in there hoping to get. So all round, that's fine. And then obviously there will be the hysteria that we haven't beaten the team that are third in the Premier League and I think they've only lost to top 4 clubs, apart from maybe one. Like they haven't lost to many people, and actually overall this season that's a 0-0, hard-fought 0-0 away, hard-fought 2-2 at home. So they don't like fighting, do they? These Geordies, it's not what they're into.
They did a lot of laying down. I mean, Guimaraes got booked for diving. Almiron should have been booked for diving. He did an absolutely horrible dive in the first half, just in front of the cop because it was kind of right in line with me. He should have really been given a straight red for it. It was awful. I think he'd been clipped slightly, then he carried on running. Then there was another someone just close behind him, and he just completely flung himself over.
The thing is, I said this. We were chatting about like the in the Square Ball Charity Walk group. Like I know Eddie Howe's teams do have a tendency to do this, but can you blame them when you see the sort of refereeing performances you get, where the weakest of things are given all the time? I'm not surprised players try and game the system all the time.
Luke Ayling.
Yeah, I mean, today Joe Robles did take about 3 minutes over a goal kick in the opening 5. So
there's 2 thoughts on that. So one, Luke Ayling dealt with Alan St. Maximin when he came on by basically just pretending to be fouled by him constantly.
Fall on the ball, put your hands on it, and the ref's got no choice.
And Maximin had no way of dealing with that. Blew his mind. Couldn't compute.
How many bandages did St. Maximin have on? By the way, he seemed to have one on both legs and one arm. He shouldn't be on the pitch. It's falling in pieces.
Is it Mumra who was the bad guy in He-Man?
He-Man.
And the other thing was
one for the kids and so on.
Joe Robles on their penalty. That was quite entertaining, wasn't it? This far away from a red card.
Yeah, I was thinking, don't stop now. Stop now.
He was clicking it. He fully clicked it, didn't he? He walked the line.
Still, Firpo got his red.
Well, let's talk about.
It's been trying for ages.
Let's talk about Junior Firpo because he had a very eventful afternoon. Did the young man, didn't he?
Yeah, it is very surprising he's not had a red card before, isn't it? It is his first, I think.
I think so. Yeah.
I thought he might have got one in this game actually. That one where I think it was Guimaraes who went over the top on the halfway line, and it was one of those that it happened, and I kind of went, ooh, don't know. It was a long way away, but you sort of the angle of it and the tangle of legs, you did sort of think that could be looked at.
Yeah, the red card itself was kind of funny almost in the speed in which it unfolded because nobody could quite believe the free kick had been given for the push. And I was like, oh, he's giving it. And
I said, it happened, and there was a boot on the floor as well.
Yeah, Gordon's boot went flying off.
And so I said to the bloke to me, I said, he's going to have to be careful here or he's going to get sent off. And I was like, oh, he has.
Yeah.
There's no reaction to the red card either, weirdly. It felt like it just...
Nonto nearly went with him. McKennie had to go and tell him, because he got booked in the build-up to the penalty and then was on his way to go and get another one. But McKennie had the wit about him to say, like, leave this to the bigger boys. We'll deal with this. And the Guimaraes one with the lunge, I think one of the reasons that I've not seen a replay of it, but I could tell it wasn't that bad because Guimaraes was like rolling around on the floor, banging the grass as if his leg was in bits, and their physios just didn't even come on.
Yeah,
they just let him lie there, and then it's fine, isn't he? And eventually he got up and was like, "Yeah, that actually didn't hurt at all." So,
yeah. I mean, I guess it is from I'm not going to give any credit to a ref or anything like that, but you do. It must be hard when you've got so much simulation and people falling over, and that include our players. And that Luke Ayling, like you said, does it all the time. It can't be easy trying to discern what's real from what's not.
I mean, in fairness, if Luke Ayling goes down when someone's close to him from behind, it's a fairly safe bet. It's not really been fouled.
Wow. Ayling's very good in those situations at making the other person kick him.
Yeah,
that's what he does. He doesn't just go down under no reason. He goes backwards, gets contact, then goes down to make sure he gets a free kick, and it is, everybody knows, but also there's not really a way that you can say it's not a foul because he's made sure there's, he's not, somersaulting over people's legs. It's just silly.
And he's out for West Ham anyway. He doesn't have to travel to London.
Oh,
Firpo.
Yes. Old junior. So we were just wrapping up his eventful afternoon. And he was involved. Was it both penalties he was involved in? And
he won one. And what did we get the second one for?
Who?
His handball.
Oh, right. Okay. We only got one, didn't we?
Yeah.
Okay.
We didn't get two. We'd have missed it. We'd have missed it if we had.
Yeah. So he was, and he had. There was another good. He wanted another one, but he did dive on the second one. But he was in their penalty area again, and so that was that. That's Firpo. I thought he was all right. I don't know why.
Fripp's Privilege is pointing out it was Thundercats, not He-Man.
Yeah, of course it was.
Yeah. Rah. That's what cats do, isn't it? They go rah.
Just
That's
like
how I should have known.
I believe that's what they do in the musical, don't they? They come on stage and then for 3 hours just go rah, and stuff like that. What do you make of midfield then, and the fact that we had Robin Koch in there and we had Sam Greenwood in there, and then let's talk about the change. Greenwood off for Forshaw on at half time. It feels like, first of all, on that last point, they're trying to manage Forshaw's minutes there.
I thought Forshaw was probably our best player when he came on. Have I gone over the top there?
Silence,
just blank faces. I thought he was really good. I thought he got hold of the ball in a way that no one did in the first half.
Yeah, Greenwood was a bit. He was all right. Missed a couple of. You could sort of felt like
caught in possession and things. Yeah,
he hadn't played for a long time. So there was quite a lot of that in midfield. I thought Robin Koch was full of energy and just running around tackling people. So I quite enjoyed. I didn't have a problem with him. We kept making quite daft decisions in midfield. McKennie was a bit of a culprit of this, of just doing, we're under pressure near our own penalty area, and he'll do a layoff to Firpo or something and be like, all right, you deal with that. And the option was there to just boot it clear. And a few times we tended to just be a bit daft, and you'd hope like the Big Sam situation would be cut all that out. Just don't pass it. Because trouble generally lay that way. That happened in the first good attack that Newcastle had right at the start of the game. Thought we started quite well, and then I think Ayling tried to lay it off to McKennie, and McKennie wasn't expecting it. And that's generally the thing that kept happening, is we kept kind of trying to pass it to someone who wasn't expecting it. They were like, "Oh, he's going to bang this," and they'd be like, "Oh, what the fuck are you giving it to me for?" And then we had quite a few shaky moments as Newcastle had the first attack, and that theme kept up. But I enjoyed Robin Koch. Thought McKennie played well. Greenwood, he had that one chance with a free kick and he messed it. We have towels now for McKennie's throw-in, so that's quite a new innovation. And Forshaw decent when he came on.
It has been mentioned, the commentator apparently on the visual radio today said that we could be relegated before we play our next game, which is exciting, isn't it?
Oh, good.
Well, if things go against us today, and because we're the Sunday kickoff next week, I think that's how, because it's been asked, how is that possible?
Right. I mean, as it stands, Forest have 5 points ahead of us.
Yeah.
Which ain't great, is it?
Because we can only get 6 now, and that's all we're going to get. What?
Yeah, we might. We might get 6 points.
But haven't you come away from that feeling a little bit more hope?
It really depends on other results, doesn't it? That's the thing. If we get a point today and Forest lose, Everton lose, Leicester lose, you go, all right, good point. Let's see what happens next week. If they all win, probably we're right on the precipice, aren't we? If that happens,
be all right. Whatever happens will be all right.
Oh, it's next year, isn't there?
Yeah, there's always next year. Yeah.
What's got to happen for us to be relegated by next weekend? So who's playing who?
Well, it'll just be the other teams down there winning, and then
who are they
winning ahead of us?
So we have Forest at Chelsea today.
Everton and Forest are the team that are above us.
Tomorrow you've got Everton, Man City.
Right, so
that's unlikely.
Yeah,
and then Leicester are playing on Monday, and then
against Liverpool.
Yeah, and then presumably we are being the Sunday game. Everyone is playing on Saturday. That is,
Yeah. So next Saturday is Wolves against Everton, Nottingham Forest against Arsenal. So this person is expecting Forest to beat Arsenal, Everton to beat Wolves, Everton to beat Manchester City. Is all these things got to happen?
Forest to beat Chelsea today, that's not going to happen, is it?
Well, they haven't yet.
I mean, Chelsea are considerably worse than Man City. You can't really compare the two.
But are they considerably worse than Nottingham Forest?
Don't know. At the moment.
Yeah. Don't let it worry you.
It's only a daft game, innit? I think
there's an hour to go of that still.
There's only 2 games left. 180 minutes of the season. It'll be over soon enough. And at least we know where we are. It's fine, you know.
Yeah, they're not. They've not given up. That was the big concern after Palace and who else did we get battered by? Liverpool. All the batterings that we took. There's some signs of trying to get out of this now, which it'll be a shame if it is all too late.
I was going to say, just would you, going back to the sacking of Marsh, and I don't think any of us would pretend that we'd have been happy if Allardyce had come in instead of Gracia or anybody else, would you? I mean, and he wouldn't have done because Orta wouldn't have had him. But you sit there and look at, based on the performance today, you think probably been in a much better position had he had done. But we'd never have accepted it at the time, would we? Any of us, I don't think.
I don't know.
Or wanted it anyway. We'd have accepted it.
After Marsh. Well, the problem is we ended up accepting Gracia, who no one would have accepted to begin with, but having failed to get all the people we wanted and then almost appointed Alfred Schroeder, by the time we did appoint Gracia, everyone went, all right, fine, let's just see what happens with this. So they tricked us by making...
They tricked us.
They pretended they were going to appoint someone good, and then they went, oh, there's this guy who's out of work, fine.
Well, the bigger problem is not, and this is, nobody doesn't know this, but not doing it in January. So by the time the transfer window's closed and you've signed Rutter, then what are you actually trying to achieve from that point on? So didn't work with Gracia. Maybe it would have worked with more Allardyce, but maybe also this concentrated month is what is getting the results that is getting now. There's no way of knowing. It's an alternative. Alternative reality.
Just an idle thought that passed through my mind today. I thought if we'd kind of dug in and had this amount of fight in the whole 12, 14, 16 games, whatever it is, it might have been different. But it's a small sample size.
We need that unique, well, actually impossible situation of this what we've got now, which is just this like pure 4 games of just absolute Allardyce, but somehow that to be extended over 8 games. So the two things aren't possible.
There's like nice little bit of low-level gaslighting here by Eddie Howe, who says they're disappointed not to win. They were told their disallowed goal was originally onside. So they were told that, even though I could see with my eyes from sitting there, he was a good 10 yards offside or something like that. Come on, Eddie, behave. He's had a tough week, hasn't he, with all those Tory councillors, though, losing their seats. So
we all get told a lot of things that turn out not to be true, don't they? I don't know if Eddie Howe is unique in this, whether he's probably a little bit old to be having... Someone's going to have to a little chat with him about the tooth fairy at some point. He was told that was true at one point, and then was there actually a fairy putting the money under his pillow? Maybe if he loses a tooth in the future, he could donate it to Javi Gracia.
Overall feelings then on today's match as we wind up the season. I'm just looking forward to it being over now. I went peak stress in the run up to it yesterday, and now it's just time to just get this one over the line. And wherever we go. If it's up, good. If it's down, fine.
I was fairly relaxed before it, and now I feel horrible.
Is it because you've got a bit of hope? Is that it's just a little sliver of hope?
The way it's gone. Yeah. Jesus. I feel like that Bamford penalty miss will just haunt me for the rest of my days.
And the miss against Leicester. House of Stouts has been a bit mischievous, saying someone in the stands ran up and told him it was onside. Don't attack people in football.
Makes you think.
It does make you think.
I think the only way anybody's going to cheer themselves up this weekend is going to...
You know what you're going to do here?
The squareball.net/merch, and then just...
You see the shirt behind Moscow said if you're on the video. It's on New Admiral.
Buying one of them for summer, that'll be...
That's yellow, but bloody hell, what have we done that for? Because yellow shirts don't sell, do they?
Well, this is everybody's chance to disprove that theory, isn't it?
And new fans might be thinking, that's not a Leeds United yellow.
No.
It should be highlighter yellow or sort of nuclear custard yellow.
Well, whether you're a new fan, old fan, sort of in the middle, been doing it for a while, not sure. That's a nice shirt, isn't it? And also, it's irrelevant.
This is bad for the audio version, by the way.
Even if you don't support Leeds United, it's a square ball shirt, so Leeds United Football Club are irrelevant in this scenario.
The colours are like the ones on the 91-92 away shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice.
Better times. Yeah. I thought Rasmus did pretty well at centre-back, actually. Yeah. I think maybe he's suited to the job under Allardyce when centre-backs just have to twat it clear.
Yeah.
I thought he did well.
It's in the Red Bull wheelhouse, isn't it? That kind of get it first ball forward and all that, which is one of Allardyce's mantras.
And obviously a goal threat too.
Should we wrap it up there then? And start praying for Fat Frank to not be completely useless?
Why has he been given that job, for fuck's sake? Still 1-0, isn't it? Yep, just checked.
We will wrap it up there then. Thank you for joining us on this one. Look out for Phil Hay Monday Club 15-minute debrief on that. Phil did say 2-2, so we'll get his take on that on being right, because as we deduced in all these podcasts that we do across the season, being right is the most important thing.
And 2 more points for us today, Dan.
We'll see you in a bit.
The Match Ball.